Hi all, a lot of students ask me, ma'am, there's only 4 months to CAT. Tell me how I should prepare for CAT. Give me a monthly plan, give me a schedule, give me a way to crack CAT 2025. So in this video, I am going to give you the one schedule that you should follow, the one guide to cracking CAT 2025. Make sure you see this video completely. You will understand exactly what you have to do. Then there will be no confusion ki ye karu, wo karu. How should I go about it? Everything that you need to know about CAT preparation, I'm going to explain in this one video. So make sure that you see this video in entirety. In this, I'm going to discuss what your monthly target should be, what should be the priority order of how you complete each of these subjects, what should be your daily schedule, and how you should use Cracku's course to crack CAT 2025. So let's get started. So firstly, let me tell you about how to use the course material. There's like when we actually give course material to a lot of students, they are overwhelmed. Ma'am, itna sab kuch hai, what should I do? What should be the first thing that I do? How should I prioritize my usage of this course material? I will explain to you what is each of the course material, what does it help with, what is the function of each course material. So there are 3 parts to your CAT preparation. A lot of people just think that exam hai, ratta marna hai, remember karna hai, go and write it in the exam, wo ho gaya. This is how your 10th standard was like, 12th standard was like. Even engineering, a lot of people just do ratta and go and write it. But CAT is not like that. It is in a way a skill-based exam. Whatever ratta you do will be useless there because they are not asking you what is the formula. They are asking you to apply the formula. They are asking you difficult questions based on combining 2-3 formulas. It's difficult to know which formula to use also in this particular scenario. So I would say this is not a knowledge-based exam at all. Here memorizing, remembering plays a very small role. In fact, the learn part I would say is only 20% of your exam preparation. The remaining part, which is 80%, 40% is practice. That you practice what you have learned. Practice it so much and so many times that it becomes like smooth for you. Like a person who is an artist, the first time he holds a paintbrush, his lines will not be good. He will be shaky in his drawing. You should be the experienced artist where you draw smoothly without any kind of hesitation or friction. Similarly, by the time you practice so many CAT questions, your attempt of CAT test should be smooth. You should have no hesitation. This question has come, it has angle bisector, I have to use angle bisector theorem, I can do this. That should be the way it should quickly go through your head. And that will only come through a lot of practice. The last part, which is a often overlooked part, the part which is like often ignored, and a lot of students are very afraid of doing it, is the testing part. But this is also a very important part of doing well in your CAT exam. If I've asked every single person who has done well in CAT exam, I've asked, okay, what did you do differently this year as compared to last year? Most of them has said that, ma'am, I took a lot of mocks. I took a lot of sectionals. That is the big difference between those who crack CAT and those who don't crack CAT. So these are your 3 parts of your exam. And according to these 3 parts of the exam, we have the course material. So the first course material is related to learn. This is the first priority. If it is 20%, why is this first priority? Because if you don't know the concept, you can't apply it. It is very important that you cover the syllabus, you learn the formulas, you understand the theorems, then you can start practicing, then you can solve mocks. So always, if you are given, okay, there is study room, there is batch tasks, there is mocks, sectionals, so many things, daily target, live sessions. Ma'am, what should I do first? Please do your batch tasks, which are the concept videos first. Every single day, we tell you that if you're part of any batch, we'll first give you a recorded video, which is a concept video. We'll ask you to finish the concept video and take the concept test. If you do the concept video and the concept test, you will have syllabus coverage. You will know the base concept. You will not learn how to apply it yet. A little bit of application will come with the concept videos, but at least the knowledge part will be done by the concept videos. Apart from the concept videos, the other second most important thing that you have to do is attend the live sessions. We hold live sessions every single day from 8 to 9 p.m. So what do we do in these live sessions? In these live sessions, what we do is we cover these topics again and again. Basically, the recorded videos are there for you to use anytime. Anytime you forget the concept, you can look up the recorded video, you can see the base underlying concept. In the live sessions, we cover the concepts via solving. So we have this live session schedule where we keep every 2 months, we keep covering the syllabus again and again. So the syllabus is covered multiple times before CAT is complete. And in each of these sessions, we solve a lot of questions. We make sure that you solve a lot of questions so that you get the habit of solving questions. The live sessions are there to complement your learning, to make sure that the learning is there, and to solve any doubts that you might have. This is the first priority, because if this foundation is not there, right, the higher floors cannot be built above it. So this is the first thing that you have to do. Always do syllabus coverage, concept videos, and live sessions. Attend them, because that is the foundation of your attempt. The second part, and the very high weightage, high importance part, but second priority, is the practice part. So where should you practice? How should you practice? There are two ways in which you can practice. One is the study room and one is the daily target. There are some people who have taken only daily target. There are some people who have taken study room plus daily target. There are some people who have access to everything. So I'll tell you the difference between the two. The study room is topic-based question bank, where if you say that I want to do only questions of quadratic equations, you will get hundreds of questions of quadratic equations. So again, you will basically be doing targeted practice. I want to do from this one topic, just give me questions from this topic. So that you can do from study room. On the other hand, daily target is more of a daily habit of practice. A lot of doing well in CAT is consistency. If you consistently put effort, no, it's like erosion. If you keep biting away at the problem, if you keep working towards the goal, slowly but surely you will get ahead. So even the small daily habit of taking tests makes a huge difference over time. It compounds. Every single day, small efforts compound over the period of 4 months to deliver the result that you are looking for. So this is basically a daily habit you should have. This is for targeted practice. Both of these are practice. They should complement your concept videos. After this is done, this should be your second priority. And I won't say the last priority, but the last thing that in your preparation journey is testing. What is testing? See, basically, there are 3 sections in CAT. There is quantitative aptitude, there is data interpretation and logical reasoning, and VRC, verbal ability and reading comprehension. But I like to say there is a 4th section or the 4th skill that is tested. Not only our verbal skills and RC skills are tested, that is English skills. English skills are tested, data skills are tested, and the quant skills are tested. And the 4th tested ability is basically your stamina and your test taking ability. That is your ability to handle the nerves, your ability to stay focused for the entire 2 hours without losing steam. All of that comes, that ability to just stay on track for the entire 2 hours, not to succumb to nerves, not to get too nervous, not to get scared by the test. All of that comes from taking a lot of mocks. If you don't take mocks, right, it will show on the exam day. I've spoken to so many students who have done well in CAT, and every time I ask them, okay, especially if they are repeaters, I ask them, okay, what did you do differently this year? Almost all of them tell me the same thing. Ma'am, this year I took a lot of mocks. Last year I had taken very few mocks. In general, a lot of freshers do this mistake, where in the first year they take very few mocks. They have the knowledge, they have done this practice, okay? But this part, which is of the testing part, they are just scared to take a test. They are like, I'm afraid to take a test. What if I get a low score? This is basically where a lot of students go wrong, where they don't test, they don't take mock tests or sectional tests, they do nothing. They hardly do. Many of the students go into actual CAT day with less than 5 mocks. Those guys are going to suffer on the actual CAT day, because this is a test of your nerves. This is a test of your ability to stay strong for the entire 2 hours, for you to actually not succumb to the nerves. That will only come through taking a lot of mocks. So this is the 40% priority, and third most important thing that you have to do. I would say third most important thing that you have to do at the start of your preparation and near the end of your preparation, near November. This is like 100% priority. This is the most important thing that you have to do, and this is the only thing you have to do in November. Okay. So let us take a look at a month-wise plan. How do I go about preparing for CAT month-wise? So let us take a look at the first month. Okay. So look at this first month. Okay. So I've tried to cover the most important topics in the first month as such. In the first month, what is the highest weightage? What is the most important thing that you have to do? And also what is the easiest thing you can do? Always when you are like picking, like if this is a tree and there are apples on the tree, right? Okay, if there are apples on the tree, which apple should you pick first? Should you go climb up on top and take the topmost apple? No, you should pick the fruits that are the lowest hanging fruits. It's called the lowest hanging fruits. So always I say that start by taking the lowest hanging fruits. Arithmetic is the lowest hanging fruit. In your quant syllabus, the easiest questions will come from arithmetic. Not all questions which are from arithmetic are easy, but all easy questions are mostly from arithmetic. So you can have one of very difficult questions from arithmetic, but the 4 easy questions that are there in CAT are from arithmetic almost always. So I always say that start with arithmetic. Arithmetic is your friend. It will make sure that you are able to solve at least 5 questions in CAT quant. So this should be your first priority in your preparation. Start with arithmetic. Arithmetic includes profit and loss, simple and compound interest, time, speed, distance, time and work, averages, ratio and proportion, mixtures and solutions, percentages. All of these are the bedrock of the rest of the preparation also. If you do not know how to do basics of ratio and proportion, then even algebra becomes harder. If you don't understand the basics of percentages, everything else also becomes harder. So this is like foundational knowledge and the easiest part and also the highest weightage part. Arithmetic is like 5 questions to 6 questions out of 22 are going to be arithmetic. So this is the thing that you should absolutely ace. 5 to 7 questions out of 22 are arithmetic. You have to do very well in them. So I always say that start with arithmetic, get it done, and do 50 questions from each of the arithmetic topics. So I just listed out all the topics, right? So do 50 questions from profit and loss, do 50 questions from time, speed, distance, do each of these 50 questions. So what will happen is that you will at least know that come what may, arithmetic question hai, main kar sakta hu. It will not be that I cannot solve this question or it is too hard for me. Only 1 out of 7 might be that I can't do this question, it is too difficult. The remaining 6 will definitely be within reach, and that makes a huge difference. That means that at least you are reaching 80 percentile. If you just do arithmetic, you are reaching 80 percentile. Forget 80 percentile on if it's a tough quant paper, no, just arithmetic can be 95 percentile. If you consider 2023 slot papers, okay, we had very difficult quant section. Because of that, the cutoffs were also very low. If you just solve arithmetic questions in that slot, just arithmetic, nothing else, forget the entire syllabus. If you just solved arithmetic, you would have reached 99 percentile. So it is that important, it is that foundational, it is that high priority. Okay, so always do it first. Do 50 questions from this particular topic. So how do you do 50 questions? Do from the study room. This is targeted practice. So in your first month, tackle arithmetic, make sure that you go to the study room, do 50 questions from each of these topics. It is super important. That is what you have to start with. In verbal, how do you start with verbal? A lot of people have never read in a very long time. They are saying that, ma'am, I have no reading ability. I have not read for a very long time. Where do you begin? Where do you start? So I always say that if I directly tell you to solve this reading comprehension, you will be like, kuch samajh mein nahi aa raha. What am I supposed to do here? How do I even say that, okay, answer A, option A is right, option B is wrong? How do you even, how do I even get started over here? So I'll tell you basically what you need to do well in VRC section. You need reading ability. You need a reading habit. Habit is different from ability. Habit means that you do it, come rain or shine, you are going to like read your articles every single day. So this is the super important thing that you have to do in the first month. Develop a daily reading habit. We have a section on Cracku. It is a completely free section, whether you take our course or not, which is basically CAT daily articles. Just search for Cracku's CAT daily articles. If you search for our articles, you will see that we have curated a list of very nice articles, good articles which are a pleasure to read. And they are from a wide variety of topics: economics, sociology, anthropology, history, music, everything. Recently we had a topic from like, it was from like museums to like Greek scholars to everything. We have almost every single topic that you can think of is there in that archive of articles. So what I want you to do is develop this habit that every single day I'll go and I'll read 2 articles. The more wide the variety of articles you read, the broader your understanding will be. A lot of people are like कि मुझे कुछ like समझा ही नहीं, article समझा ही नहीं, मुझे comprehension passage समझा ही नहीं. So what do you do in that particular case? See, if you are an engineer for the last many years, you have just been looking at like say scientific problems, engineering problems. When was the last time you read anything from humanities? If you are thinking of it, when was the last time you read anything about economics or like of biology? Very, very long back, right? So if I suddenly give you economics, you're going to be like completely stumped by it. The first time you read an economics article, you are going to be completely out of your depth. You are going to be stumped by it. Second time, thoda thoda samjhega. Third time, you will get more. By the 10th economics article, you will be like, okay, I understood. This is supply, this is demand, this is price discovery. I understand a bit now. So for that, you need something which is called as base context. Base context basically means that if you read 10 articles of a topic, you understand, okay, this is the case, this is what has happened. If you are reading about any controversy or about like say airplanes also, I have no idea about airplanes. But suppose if I want to figure out, okay, how do airplanes actually, what is the engineering behind them? I'll read a few articles. I'll say that, okay, there are dual engines, these are the switches, this is X, Y, Z. By the 10th article, I have a good idea about how the airplane actually works, because then by then I would have read so much. Now the 11th article comes on airplanes. I don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about the different terminology used there or different things described there. I already have base context, which makes my job of understanding much easier. So if you are somebody who has zero reading habit, zero reading ability, your first target is always build reading ability. Make sure that you read 2 articles every single day. Go to CAT Daily Articles on Cracku's website. Read 2 articles every single day. And when I say read, you have to do something which is called as active reading. What is active reading? See, when you read, okay, it's very easy to just scan through the passage. ऐसे लिखा है, ऐसे लिखा है, ऐसे लिखा है, हाँ हो गया. But that doesn't help you. In CAT, you have to not only read, you have to think. You have to like really think about what is given. So to force you to think about what you're reading, I have a method called as active reading. In active reading, suppose there are 4 paragraphs, right? So what I say is, every time you finish reading a paragraph, write down the main point of that paragraph. It tells you that, okay, this is what the author is trying to say through this first paragraph. This is what the author is trying to say through the second paragraph. This is what the author is trying to say through the third paragraph, and so on. What this does is, this will clarify your thinking. This will make it very clear. For you to actually understand the main point, you have to spend some time with the passage. You have to spend some time thinking about what the author has written. Then only you can really find out, okay, this is the main point. This is like essentially like the TLDR version of a passage. If you want to write down the TLDR version, you have to like think about what is happening, what is given. So that is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about what the author has given and then write down the main point of each paragraph. This is active reading. I want you to do it for 2 articles every single day. If you have time, and I hope that you have time, also do 1 RC per day for the first month. If you are not able to do the first 1 RC per day at the very start, near at least the end of the month, start with RCs. It's 4 months. It's an accelerated schedule. I'm asking for a lot, I know, but I can't help it. We have only 4 months. We have to make the best use of it. This is must. This is can do. If you do it, it is good, but the 2 articles per day is a must. That you cannot not do. Okay. Then we come to the LRDI part. What should be the first thing that you do in LRDI? What is the most important thing that you do in LRDI? So LRDI, you can think of it 2 parts. One is logical reasoning, one is data interpretation. For logical reasoning, the 2 most common types of logical reasoning sets that come are arrangements and puzzles. Puzzles are basically, you can have Einstein's puzzles, quant puzzles, any kind of puzzles. These are the most common type of sets that come. For example, basically, if you consider even an Einstein puzzle, right? If you don't know what an Einstein puzzle is, look it up. It's a very simple puzzle. You will like actually enjoy solving it. It's a form of arrangement. Arrangement, you can say that, okay, 5 people are standing in a line, figure out who is standing where. There'll be some clues. Okay, he is standing to the right, that person is standing to the left. By using those clues, you have to figure out who is standing where. So this is the simplest form of arrangement. If you arrange across people across a line, it's linear arrangement. If you arrange people across a circle, it's circular arrangement. If you arrange people across like levels with attributes, etc., it becomes a puzzle. So this is basically simple arrangement. The more arrangements that you solve, the better it is, because that is like the fundamental skill. Arrangements comes as part of so many things, as part of puzzles, as part of enumeration puzzles, as part of charts, so many things. So this is like the fundamental skill that you should learn when it comes to LR part. The second thing that you need to be able to do is tables and charts. This is the DI part. So tables and charts basically means if table data is given, you should be able to interpret the table data. Okay, these columns are given, using this value and this value, I can calculate this value. That is table computation, crunching of numbers. Most of you will be able to do it. If you have any kind of background in engineering, commerce, science, mostly you will be able to do this data crunching. It's not very different from what you have done. The second part is charts. This a lot of people have not done. Charts are basically different ways of representing information which can be converted to a table. See, a lot of people are either visual readers or table-based readers. For me, I personally prefer visual data, because using visual data, I can quickly see, okay, if I have a pie chart, okay, and a pie chart shows, okay, that 80% of the expense is on rent. By looking at the pie chart, I can say that this is such a big expense. 80% of your income is going in rent. It is a huge expense. So things are very quickly represented by these visual charts. But the thing is that when you're solving, right, charts are not a very good way of solving information, because charts are not data crunching friendly. What is good for data crunching? Tables are good for data crunching. So what you have to essentially do is learn how to read charts and convert them into tables. This is nothing, it's like very simple basic skill. You do it 5 times, you will know exactly what you have to do. So again, over here in LRDI, what is the first thing that you should do? First, do arrangements and puzzles and tables and charts. Do 5 sets of each type, so that is basically 20 sets. 30 days, 20 sets, easily doable. Here 2 articles per day, plus 1 RC if possible. Here 50 questions from each topic, so around 200 questions that you have to do. 200 questions, 2 articles per day, 20 sets. Doable, not very difficult. It would take you around 4 hours to do it every single day. And if you consider that, okay, you have only 2 hours on weekdays, do 2 hours on weekdays and then work for extended period on weekends. The other thing that you have to do, testing part, don't forget this part, okay? This is basically at the top, it is learning plus practice. This part is your testing part. It is the important part, don't forget it. From the first month itself, I want you to start taking mocks. Ma'am, what about building foundation? I have not completed my syllabus. How can I take a mock? I have not completed my syllabus. You have to start taking mocks before you complete syllabus. Firstly, I will say that before any preparation, take a mock. Take like the zero prep mock. It tells you basically what is your starting level. That I am starting from this low level and everything above that is going to be an improvement. Okay. So this zero prep mock is always very informative, because it tells you directly, it's like jumping in the deep end in a swimming pool. You can practice swimming, like do everything and learn as much on land as much as possible. The first time you really know what it means to swim is when you jump in the water. So unless you take your first mock, you will have no idea about the exam. The first mock will suddenly sub clear ho jayega ki ye karna hai, ye karna hai, ye karna hai. So in the first month itself, I want you to take 2 to 3 mocks. Take the first mock, which is the zero prep mock, before you start any preparation. It will clarify your entire thinking. It will tell you where exactly you stand, and it will make everything much more clearer. Ki ye zaruri hai, ye zaruri nahi hai. This is what I have to do. This is not what I have to do. So always take the zero prep mock. Okay. Let's go to the second month. Okay. So what do you do in the second month? See, over here I have given more things to do. Forgive me for the things that I have put, a lot of things I have put, but I have high expectations of you. I want many of you to do like 99.5 percentile plus. I want some of you to reach 100 percentile. So I put a lot of things. I want you to try to do them. Even if you fail, 99.9 nahi hoga, 99.5 hoga, but still you will get a lot of shortlist, no? So have ambitious targets. If you fail, that's still okay. You will still do a very decent, you will still post a very decent percentile. So let's see what should be your target for the second month. So in quant, see, after your arithmetic, the second most important topics in after arithmetic are algebra and geometry. They are also the toughest topics. This part after that is number system, modern maths, etc. वो काफी easy है. This is the toughest part of your preparation. Particularly if you are not from an engineering background, algebra will crush your spirit a bit. I want you to be mentally prepared for it. कि ये difficult है, but I'm going to persevere. I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it well. This is difficult. I want you to put full focus on algebra and geometry in the next second month. It is difficult, but you have to do it. It's a lot of people say, ma'am, ये छोड़ सकता हूँ क्या, वो छोड़ सकता हूँ क्या? Can I leave algebra? You can leave algebra. As I said, if there are very difficult, if it's a very difficult quant paper, even arithmetic will carry you. But what if it's a very easy year? CAT 2024 was a very easy paper. What do you do when that happens? Then only arithmetic will not carry you. Then you need to do everything else also. So this is where algebra and geometry come in. Algebra is difficult without practice. If you don't practice right, there is not much theory there. ऐसा नहीं है कि there are a lot of formulas to remember. In fact, there is minimum formulas to remember. Everything in algebra is practice, solving. Only that will help. Geometry, there are a lot of formulas to remember. And then also to remember and use the right formula, you need a lot of practice. So here what I want you to do is, I want you to do 50 questions from algebra, mix quadratic, linear, like polynomial, everything from algebra. Try to do 50 inequalities, everything. Try to do a mix of 50 questions as such. 50 questions from geometry, again a mix of all the topics, everything from triangles, circles, everything. This is the bare minimum that you have to do well in algebra and geometry. And I don't want you to lose touch with arithmetic also. So keep on solving questions from arithmetic. So 50 mixed questions from arithmetic. A total of 150 questions that you have to do in 30 days. 30 days divided by 150, it's 5 questions per day. Doable. If you are somebody who is focused, it is not a big stretch to do it. But if you miss like 5 days, suddenly there's a backlog. So make sure you're consistent. This is easily doable. 5 questions per day for 30 days. 5 questions should take you 15 minutes. So it is doable if you are consistent. So make sure that you do this, you cover the topics and you do these 150 questions. Now in verbal. Now here we have to start our preparation, not just the simple reading ability or reading habit. Now we have to actually look at RC, take a in-depth look at RC. So you have to know what are the different types of RCs are asked, what are the different types of questions that are asked in RC, how to handle the questions, how to actually learn to handle specific questions in RC. So there are specific types of passages that come, economics based, sociology based, music, arts, etc. So you can classify the passage based on the topic, or you can classify the passage on the basis of the tone of the author. So is he trying to persuade you? So it's a persuasive RC. Is the author trying to inform you? It's an informative RC. Is the author doing an analysis of a topic? It's an analytical RC. So based on that, we have told you how to read the RC, how to interpret the RC, how should be your strategy for each type of RC. Similarly, there are different types of questions that often come in CAT. Will the author agree with this? Will the author disagree with this? What can be inferred? Why does the author give this example? Typical questions that are asked in CAT year after year. So we have made a list of all these kind of questions and we have told you, aisa question aayega, so you have to answer it in this way. So I want you to cover that syllabus. Make sure that this work is done in the second month. This is there in all your concept videos. You have access, if you part of the Cracku's course, you will have access to all of these things. This is basically, and this is critical reasoning basics. Critical reasoning is not a part of your CAT syllabus, but it massively helps you in your reading comprehension. So cover that because it is like a foundational skill to doing well in RCs. So cover this very important part of RCs in the second month. So this is basically second priority of quant, first priority of VRC, and here this is the second priority of LRDI. In VRC, I kind of shifted RCs to the second month. I just put like a easy target of building a reading habit in the first month because reading habit is very, very important. So I have said कि ठीक है, RC का specific preparation you delay to the second month, but develop the reading habit in the first month. Here basically I want you to focus on the RC abilities, the basics of RCs, the CR basics, everything, and start doing 1 to 2 RCs per day. You can continue reading your articles. The articles also have a lot of value, but now here targeted practice is more important. You have to do 1 to 2 RCs every single day. Then we come to LRDI. See, the arrangements and puzzles, you can expect one set from arrangements and puzzles, one set from tables and charts. So out of 5 sets, 2 to ho gaye. So where do the remaining 3 questions or 3 sets come from? They are a mix of these other type miscellaneous LRDI that you can see. The most common type of like sets other than arrangements and puzzles and tables and charts are quant based LRs, 2D space puzzles, scheduling, games and tournaments, like routes and networks, many things are there. But I have taken 3 out of them and say that tackle these 3 in the second month. In the third month, fourth month, I am putting the remaining as such. But in the second month, tackle these 3 so that you're good with these 3 at least in the second month. So here by this, like 70% of the syllabus is over. This is 80%. If you have done with this second month, 80% of your syllabus is over. 2/3 of your syllabus is over. This is 80% of your syllabus is over. In the second month itself, if you finish this, 80% of your syllabus is over. The 80% by weightage work is done in this particular case. So what do you have to do in LRDI? I want you to do 5 sets of each type, 5 sets of each of these quant LRs, 2D space puzzles, scheduling, 5 sets of each type. And the whole point is that you don't forget the first month ka things. So continue solving arrangements and puzzles, tables and charts. Continue doing 5 sets of those even in this month also. All efforts are accumulative. So 5 sets in first month, 5 sets of each type in second month, 5 sets of each type in third month and so on. By the fourth month, you will find that arrangements मैंने इतने solve किए arrangements that I find it like super easy to do. So that is the point. You start early with the most important things and you keep doing them in the later months also. You don't forget them. You keep following through with all of the first most important priority things in the later months also. So 5 sets of each of these 3 plus 5 sets of puzzles, arrangements, tables and charts. This is your learning plus practice goal. What is your test goal for the second month? This one. 3 to 4 mocks plus analysis. 3 to 4 mocks basically means that you have to take a mock almost every weekend. The mocks, like if you see this, right, all of this is what I want you to do to Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday you should do this. If there is any backlog, cover it on Saturday and Sunday. But Sundays, main thing that you have to do on Sundays is mocks. And not just take mocks, you have to do analysis. What do I mean by analysis? See, basically when you take a mock, there will be good mocks, there will be bad mocks. There will be mocks where you have negative marks. A lot of students get that. It's like, don't panic suddenly. Ma'am, I've gotten 0, I've gotten negative marks in a section. It happens to the best of us. So what should you do after a mock? That is what is important. The mock, the score, that is not important at all. What you do after the mock is very important, because what I want you to do after every single mock is go through the paper again. Understand why you couldn't solve a question or why you solved it incorrectly. You didn't know the base concept, revise that base concept. Maybe you forgot it, maybe you forgot an important formula, revise that formula. You knew the base concept, with time you could have solved it, you took a lot of time to solve. Practice. So basically the analysis will tell you whether the deficiency is in learning, you didn't know the base concept, or the deficiency is practice, where you knew the concept but didn't know how to apply it or couldn't apply it in time, or that you know the concept, you know how to solve, you could solve after the timer pressure was off, you could solve it afterwards. So then the deficiency is with test, that your nerves got in the way. So this analysis will identify whether it is the learning part that you need to do, whether it is the practice part that you need to do, or whether it is the testing part you need to do. One of these 3 will be the reason why you score poorly. You have to identify which and then you have to rectify it. after every mock, do a lot of analysis, figure out which concepts you don't understand or don't know, revise those concepts again, go back to the recorded videos, go back to the live sessions, see them again, make sure that you revise that, practice a lot of questions of that type, make sure that any question comes, you are able to solve it quickly, and testing, doing a lot of mocks, make sure that your nerves don't get in the way. Nervousness does not play a factor in your scores. That should be the end result. That you have taken so many tests that this CAT feels like just another test that you're taking. Let's go to the next part. Third month. What should you do in the third month? Okay, so let's go to the third month. What should you do in the third month as such? So let's start with quant. So now we come to the remainder part of the quant syllabus. This is like, I'd say, together from this number systems, one-off question comes. PNC, permutations and probability, 0 to 1 questions come. There were many years where probability didn't come at all. People stopped revising it completely or like even studying it completely. Suddenly one question would pop up. So you have to do something about PNC. You can't completely ignore it. But this is like one question, modern maths 2 to 3 questions, okay? Not 3, maybe 3 to 4 questions. Together like 5 questions out of 22. So together it is less important than arithmetic in many ways. So I would say that this should be the third thing that you do, but should you actually skip it? A lot of people say that, ma'am, can I skip this part? Can I just like ignore this part? Should I not do it? So I'll tell you one thing, that as much as possible, don't leave anything. For modern maths, I'll tell you why first. Okay, modern maths say progressions and series is there is functions, there is logarithms. Logarithms are some of the easiest questions that you will find. Logarithms plus algebra is very common. So if you have done algebra but you have not done logarithms, you will miss out on a lot of questions. Logarithms, if it is plain logarithms, it is super easy. If there is no flavor or tadka of algebra, they are easy questions. You should never miss out on them. So at least logarithms of modern maths, never skip. Functions also, there are 2 levels of functions. Easy question, super hard question. And you can figure out in 10 seconds whether it is an easy question or a hard question. So if it's an easy question of functions, you should not miss out on that. So because of that, functions also do not skip. The last part, which is progressions and series. Progressions and series are always at least moderate questions to hard questions. I don't remember any easy question ever coming from progressions and series in CAT Quant. I would not say that leave it. I don't say leave it. But if you are somebody who struggles with anything related to quant, this should be your least priority as such. Then you come to number systems. Number systems, I feel, are a very fun topic, okay, easy topic. And the questions that actually come from number systems are easy questions from HCF, LCM. But what do students study from number systems? They study number remainder theorems. They study the part which is difficult and जिससे कोई question आता ही नहीं है. And they leave the part which is easy, जिससे बहुत questions आते हैं. HCF, LCM, divisibility, basically puzzles based on numbers, that what is the number such that if I switch the digits or anything like that, how many numbers are possible such that. All of those come very often and people ignore those questions. The remainder theorems never comes. It's difficult to actually learn also. People do a lot of that. Remainder theorems comes, but it comes in ZAD. So I'll tell you to do all of that part after CAT is over. But here basically this is less important, but do not ignore, do not skip entirely. I want you to do 30 questions of each, lesser questions to reflect the fact that they are less important. But do a lot of logarithms questions, do a lot of functions questions. The others, do as much as you can. Here is very important. Start practicing. By third month, I want you to start really ramping up the practice, okay? I don't want you to spend a lot of time just learning or passively seeing videos. You have to start solving 50 questions of all topics every single month, because here, like if you are, this is your day, okay? You start with learning, the learn part keeps reducing. When you start, the practice part is lesser, but the practice part keeps increasing with time. This is, say, the learn part. This is the practice part. Initially, you learn more and you practice less. Afterwards, by the third month, you have to mostly do practice. There is fewer things to learn. Most of your time is going to be spent in solving, not in seeing concept videos, not in seeing the formulas for the first time, but in solving. Solve. This is where you should be spending your time. In the third month also, if you are passively seeing videos, you are doing something wrong. You have to start solving by the third month. and solving a lot of questions. Arithmetic, algebra, 50, 50, 50, every time you have to keep hitting that question solving mark. Where do you do that from? Study room. Study room has thousands of questions. You will never run out of questions from that. Okay, so that is what is your target for the third month for quant. For verbal, here comes the VA part of your VARC section, para summary, OOC and theta para jumbles, para completion questions. These are 1/3 of your VARC section. Why am I keeping it for the third month? Why am I not doing it earlier? I would basically say that in VARC section, RCs are like the fixed deposit and VA part is like the equity investment. You want to pass the section, you want like a safe return, you have to do well, the fixed deposit has to be there. This is basically all bonus, extra. This will quickly give you that extra 3 marks. In 1 minute, you will get that extra 3 marks. But the base or foundation of the VRC section is the RC. The RCs are going to get you to 95, 99 percentile. These will get you to 100 percentile. But this is extra. RCs are super important. That's why I've kept it for the third month. I don't want you to ignore it. I don't want you to consider it like inferior to the RC section. Not at all. There are some people who are very good at VA and I tell them, sacrifice RC, do more in VA, practice more of VA, attempt VA first. But for like 70 to 80% of the students, RC is much better than their VA ability. So for them, I say that do RC first, do very well in RC. VA, you should put it as second priority. In VA also, this is the most important topic because it flows directly from RC. Mostly para summary, the accuracy rate will be the same as the RC accuracy rate. This is the second most important part, para completion. Again, high accuracy area, you will do well if you practice a lot. These are slightly random. Kabhi tukka lagta hai, kabhi nahi lagta. So I would say that keep it for the last priority. Don't ignore. They are theta parajumbles and OOC parajumbles. Generally, they are like free marks. Why do I say free marks? Because there is no negative marking for them. There is only positive marking. +3, -0. So you should always attempt them. You should never leave these questions unattempted. But the issue with these questions is that the probability or the likelihood that you will get them correct is very low. That's why they have removed they have not put any negative marking for them because the chance that you will get it right is slightly small. So these two are super important. This is also important, but these are more important. Para completion, para summary are more important. Practice a lot of them, 20 of each of them, and continue to do one RC every single day. This RC is your fixed deposit. Make sure that it saves you, it gets you to a safe shore by the end of the VRC section. Now in LRDA, what should you do? These are the remaining RCs. I told you that, okay, we have covered some LRs, now some remaining LRs are there. Do all the remaining chotu LRs now, team selection, games and tournaments, Venn diagrams, routes and networks, many smaller LR sets are there. Do them over here and make sure that you are like covering the basics of how to solve the LR. For every LR, there's a representation format that we teach, like in how to solve it. We teach that, make sure you know the representation format and do one LR set every day. Like your daily habit, have this LRDI set solving habit as such. This is a very important habit to have because agar koi panic karta hai, to the section in which most people panic is the LRDI section. I panic, even Maruti panics at times in the LRDI section. People are prone to panic in that section. The only thing that will save you in that particular section is a daily habit of solving. If you do something daily, it's no longer scary. So that's why I have this daily habit of doing one LR set every day. So what is the practice goal for the third month? 150 questions of this, 90 questions of this. So 240 questions plus 1 RC every day, 60 questions of this. Quite a lot, I know, but you have to do it. I'm sorry, this is what is required. This is the bare minimum required to do well in CAT and 1 LR set every single day. Then we come to the testing part again. Here we have increased the number of mocks that are there. Now I'm saying 4 to 6 mocks. See, at the bare minimum, you should be doing 1 mock every single weekend. If possible, do more than 1 mock. I don't want you to do it like 1 mock on Saturday and 1 mock on Sunday. This will have no meaning because between Saturday and Sunday, you are not improving your performance. The whole point is that when you take a mock, you analyze the mock, you improve, say that I have to do X, Y, Z. I didn't learn, I didn't practice, I didn't test. I made some mistakes. You have to learn to not do those mistakes and then you take the next mock. If you take mocks one after the other and you skip this analysis and improvement part, it is useless. It is useless to do this mocks without doing this analysis part. So I would say that if you're taking more than one mock in a week, do it in such a way that you take a mock on Wednesday. So if you take a mock on Wednesday, you have Thursday, Friday to reflect on it, to learn from it, and then you take your scheduled mock on Sunday. Every Sunday you should take mocks. Every Sunday it should be a habit that you take mocks. Why is it an important habit to have? Because you also have your CAT test on Sunday. You're trying to fool yourself by thinking that CAT test is just another mock. You have taken so many mocks till now, another Sunday, another test, nothing big, okay? You try to fool yourself so that you don't get nervous on that day, you don't get scared on that day, you do your best on that day because you have taken so many mocks, this is just like another mock. So take 4 to 6 mocks, every Sunday one mock, and if possible try to do a midweek mock. Then we'll go to the 4th month. So now let us come to the plan for the 4th month. This is in many ways the most critical month. And this is also the month in which a lot of people get this wrong. I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you from my personal experience also. The first time I gave CAT, I remember in the last month I was actually reading the base concepts again. I was seeing the formulas again. I was trying to learn the base concepts again as such. And this is, I know a lot of students also make the same mistake. They start seeing concept videos again. They start seeing videos again as such. In this 4th month, I don't want you to focus on passively seeing videos. This month is not for watching videos or for learning for the first time. Your full focus in this month is practice and test. This particularly is now 60% of what you should do, and this is 40% of what you should do. And I'll tell you what it means to practice and what it means to test. See, firstly, I want you to only look at revision videos, quant revision videos, verbal revision videos, LRDI revision videos. Whether you take Cracku's courses or not, they have been put up for free. There are revision marathons. Just make sure that you see them at the end of the, near the end of the preparation. They will make sure that there is no concept that you have overlooked. There is no like blind spot in your preparation. But what you really have to do at this point of time is you have to practice every single day. You have to solve a lot of questions. You should think of yourself as a solving machine by the end of it, that I'm just solving. Every day I'm just solving so many questions. Every day I'm trying to solve like 50, 60 questions as such. That should be the target. I know it's a lot to solve, but that's what you should be trying to do. At this point, I want you to make sure that you take the daily target every single day, not just of that day, but any day that you missed off earlier. So daily targets are basically as I mentioned, these are the short tests. They are 5 questions in quant, 1 RC set, 1 LRDI set. These are basically moderate difficulty level sets based exactly on CAT level. These are not lower than CAT level, not above CAT level, they are exactly CAT level. And that kind of preparation is super important while going into CAT, where you have exposure to good quality questions just before you take your CAT, because you have to be in that zone, that I should be able to solve harder questions, I should be able to solve good quality questions. So I want you to make sure that you take daily target every single day in the 4th month. Without fail, every single day of the 4th month you take the daily target. And in addition to that, you go back and finish any daily targets that you have missed over the time period as such. Over the first 3 months, if you have missed any daily target, do them now, because this is the time when you have to focus entirely on solving. Then basically you have to focus on the study room. Try to do 5 to 10 questions every single day. 5 questions is not a lot. It is like 15 minutes. 10 questions is half an hour. But it should be a daily habit. Daily you should be doing things. 1 RC plus 5 questions every single day from the study room. 22 DI sets and LR sets every single day from the study room. So here basically I have told you that practice goals are there. Every single day daily target is there. Every single day there is a practice goal from the study room. So this is about practice. Then you have the test part, and this is the most important part that you have to do. Do a lot of mocks, do a lot of sectionals. When should you take a mock? When should you take a sectional? See, mocks are basically your 4 Sundays are mocks. In addition to them, I would say that you can take the mocks on 4 Wednesdays also. So at least 4 Sundays and Wednesdays, that's a total of 8 mocks. I would say in addition to that, you can also take sectionals. Sectionals are basically, everybody will have strong sections, weak sections. For example, there are some students who are weak in quant, they are strong in LRDI and VRC. There are some students who are weak at VRC, they are good at quant and LRDI. Or some people are both good at VRC and quant, but they are terrified of LRDI. When there is one section which is tripping you up, you need not take the full mock as such. Then you have to do targeted preparation, in which case you should be doing sectionals, a lot of sectionals. Particularly, I'll tell you one thing, okay? If you are near 99 percentile in 2 of the sections and near 80 percentile in one of the section, or even lower than 80 percentile in one of the sections, this happens quite a lot. A lot of people are like 99 percentile quant and LRDI, 60 percentile verbal. So kya hoga? Verbal will trip you up, the entire thing will go down, go south because of verbal. So then what do you have to do? Do you take a lot of mocks? No, then you have to take sectionals like crazy. You have to take the sectional of the section in which you are weak. So you have to take a lot of verbal sectionals then. Basically, sectional is for targeted practice of a particular section. Whichever is your weakest section, you have to take a lot of those sectionals as such. In general, try to do 6 to 8 mocks, which is 4 Sunday, 4 Wednesday. So then you will have 8 mocks practice plus sectionals of the section that you are weakest in. I would say that by the end of it, you should be exhausted. You should be like, I can't solve anymore. I have like every single day of this 4th month, I've just been solving questions. The whole point is that you are trying to build momentum. See, when you are standing stationary, right, for you to start walking, it takes some time. For you to start running, it takes some more time. Okay, you can't start like running from cold. It is difficult to do it. So then you need to slowly build momentum. But once you have momentum, right, to continue running, it is much easier. So what I'm trying to do is, in this 4th month, I'm trying to build momentum. I'm trying to build solving momentum. It ends in the 4th month, which is November, and in that November, you will have full momentum is going, where you have like on CAT day, you are fully in the solving zone. You have solved every single day of November, you know exactly what to do. So that building of that momentum is super important, and that momentum has to be built in the last month. You can't have momentum in August and do nothing in October and September and November. At the very end, you should have positive momentum. At the very end, you should have a lot of momentum. So in the 4th month, just solve, practice, and take a lot of mocks. That is what I want you to focus on in the last month. Now let's come to the daily schedule. I've told you month-wise what you should be doing. But what is the daily schedule? When should you take each of these things? What should be your daily schedule? So firstly, I remember that every single day, Monday to Friday, you have the batch tasks to do. These are your first priority. This you should try to finish in the first half of your day. Try to finish. I would always say that if you are very serious, try to wake up early. If you're a college student, try to wake up at 6 o'clock. If you have to go to work at 9, try to wake up at 7 and get from 7 to 8, get your batch tasks done. See the concept video early in the morning so that you have this done before you even go to college or office. Live sessions are from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. This is the second priority. Do it every single day, and when you come for live sessions, make sure that you are prepared to solve. Don't just sit and watch the live session. You have to solve in this live session. That is the additional thing that you have to do. Daily target, this is 15 minutes plus 15 minutes plus 15 minutes. 15-minute test for quant, 15-minute test for VRC, 15 minutes test for LRDI. I would suggest that try to split it over the course of the day. The reason for that is that when you say that, okay, either I do all the 45 minutes or I don't do anything at all. If you start with that attitude, right, what will happen is that it will become very difficult for you to find a chunk of 45 minutes in your day. But 15 minutes everybody can find. 15 minutes is like you going to work. The travel time from your home to work might be 15 minutes. Or it might be just a small break during the day. You have a lunch hour, you finish your lunch in like 15 minutes, you have 15 minutes left over, take a test. This is basically what you have to do. This is split into 15 minutes. Try to take it through the day so that you don't keep a chunk of 45 minutes. You don't need a chunk of 45 minutes to get this done. Daily articles, you should read this as a habit at the start of the day. If you start the day with articles, what will happen is that you will start the day thinking about things. Like it also affects your thoughts. It also makes you very open to thinking. I often feel that I sometimes like to read RC passages out of interest. I want to see what people are saying. I have read so much about AI, I've read so much about economics, I've read so much about like justice systems, so many things. My worldview has changed because of the articles I have read. So I would always say try to read them in the morning if possible, because they will basically impact your thinking much better in the morning. This is what your daily schedule should look like. This is what you have to accomplish every single day. This is basically what your weekend schedule should look like. On Sundays, you are taking your mocks, your sectionals, and on Saturdays, you are doing your study room practice. Whenever you have taken any mock or sectional, whenever you are finished with the mock, you have to analyze it, right? And when you analyze it, you are identifying issues with your preparation. When you identify an issue with your preparation, "Arey, algebra bilkul nahi ho raha hai," then you have to go to the study room and you have to practice from the study room. Then say that, okay, I didn't do well in algebra, I have to do at least 50 questions from 10 from quadratic, 10 from inequalities, 10 from linear equations, 10 from functions, 10 from progressions, wherever the issues are there. So say that for after every mock, you're going to say that I'm going to do 50 questions split over my weak areas. This is where study room comes in. This is targeted practice post the mock and sectionals, okay? So this is basically what your schedule should look like on a daily basis. You now know exactly what you have to do month-wise, you know exactly what you have to do day-wise. If you're looking for the best way to prepare for CAT, do check out Cracku's courses. Everything that I have described, everything in terms of schedule is according to what we think is the right way to prepare for CAT, what we know is the right way to prepare for CAT, and our content works perfectly with this. When I tell you that, okay, solve questions, we'll have thousands of questions in our study room. When I tell you that take mocks, we have 20 mocks plus 15 sectionals. You will never run out of content, you will never run out of the resources to crack CAT. Follow this schedule, use the right resources. There is nothing stopping you from doing well in CAT 2025. So best of luck. I hope all of you do really, really well in CAT 2025, and best of luck with your preparation. Thank you.